Good evening.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing? We got to say good evening to
Yes,
who's
we're the
around
Wheelies.
there. We, because there's just one of us and both of us are named We. Please.
Yes.
And we're here just to discuss briefly something that is an important spiritual activity.
Yeah.
And that is, we grow up with our parents making promises. At least we ask them, promise me, please.
Yes.
So a lot of what we do hinges upon what we've always done.
Yes.
So whatever your family did or whatever your parents did, then we've got to also understand that we're going to hinge what we believe on that. But God has a different way of looking at it in that he says he keeps his promises.
Yes.
So the promises that he makes with us have the capability of being rewarded.
Adam and Eve were created on a Friday.
That's right. And God imbued them or gave to them spiritual understandings when he created them.
But obviously he realized they couldn't handle it all at once because it said he came every day and walked and talked in the garden with them.
And I'm sure among those things, they had to make a promise.
Yes.
To only go to certain areas of the garden.
Very
there was a
good.
boundary.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a promise. A boundary is a promise.
That is true. And there was another promise made. Mm-hmm. And it said you to leave father and mother and cleave to their spouse.
That's right. So there's an understanding that God set up marriage and set up family from the very beginning.
And he set up boundaries.
And he set up boundaries between families and within families, because children are not supposed to do what adults do.
Nor are in-laws supposed to be involved in the marriage.
And we'll have to talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But one of the most important things is that before you get married, there has to be a plan. God had a plan.
Yeah. But, it's interesting. Sometimes we make promises before we get married that seem to be forgotten or don't get carried over into the marriage.
Well, that's what that period of time is. It's called engagement time. And we call each other fiancés.
Uh-huh.
But that is a commitment, and that's a promise.
Okay.
To be faithful to that one person, that you're not pursuing relationships with multiple people. And that you both are committed to God.
Okay.
And that's one reason why we have a promise in our churches that before marriage there ought to be a pre-marriage exercise with the couples.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And it's interesting. You made me a promise when we got engaged. Mm-hmm. I will never forget. You told me I would never have a child born in Mississippi because you knew that's where you were going to pastor.
Yeah, well, that's one I kept.
Yes, you did.
So we do make promises to each other, but the most important promise is the covenant with God.
Yes.
And a promise is not the same as a covenant.
Okay. Well, what's the difference?
A promise says, I'm going to do something.
Okay.
A covenant with God says he is going to do something if we accept what he has asked us to do.
So then the covenant that he made when he said leave father and mother and join yourself to your spouse meant that he was going to bless that relationship.
And let no man
put asunder
that covenant. So that's along with marriage, because when we get before the preacher and before the church, we're making a covenant with God, with the church, and with each other. So that's a very special thing. And after we're married, then there are expectations.
Yes. And really, I guess to keep promises after you're married, that requires communication skills.
That's right. So these are things you learn before marriage. You don't wait till after it gets tough and tight. You have to take care of it right now, right then. So You know that God is in it, though. When it's His covenant, He says, I'm going to help you stay married.
Okay.
Help you stay faithful to me and help you stay faithful to each other.
I love it.
And from there, all promises are built upon that foundation.
I like that.
Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Well, that's it for this.
All right. Have any more questions for promises? Let us know.
Bye-bye.